Mention the year 1986 to a golf fan, and they probably know where you're going. To Augusta, Georgia, where a father and son enjoyed a spring walk and a glorious sunset. Jack Nicklaus swinging the clubs, Jack Nicklaus II carrying the bag, en route to a sixth Masters title. Those highlights and more can be seen as part of Jack, the three-part series that airs this evening at 9 p.m. Eastern on golf. And Jack Nicklaus II, kind enough to join us. Jack, good morning. We appreciate your time and hope you and your family are staying safe. Let's talk about 1986 because people were able to relive that Masters last week. 34 years later, why does that victory resonate still?
Well, good morning, Damon. Happy to be here. Our family's managing to stay safe. I hope everyone out there is as well. 86 Masters, it's amazing. It was 34 years ago. Guys, I was 24 years old at the time. I'm almost 60 myself now. But anyway, it's just, my dad's last major, number 18. And it was, it was, for me, it was a walk through just an amazing place, Augusta National, with my father. It was a memorable time for me to always remember with Dad.
I've asked you this before through the years, and I'll ask it to you again. How were you able to stay so composed and do your job amidst all of that emotion?
That was really hard. I have to backtrack a little bit. 1982, I'm caddying for my father at Pebble Beach. And that was the year that Tom Watson made the amazing chip on the 71st hole. During that round, Dad started out, he and again, you took the ages. I'm 20 years old at the time. And I'm caddying for my dad in the U.S. Open. He bogeys the first hole. He pars the second hole, which is at the time is a par 5. The second hole at Pebble Beach. Sees to birdie 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And the little walk from 7 green to 8 tee, which is all of about 12 feet. I got right in Dad's face and I put both fists up. So I said, "Dad, this is great. Way to go." And Dad ended up bogeying the 8th hole. And honestly, probably no fault to myself, but I kind of blame myself for getting my dad out of the moment. So now let's fast forward to 86 Masters. And sure, I remember that. And there was no way that I was going to get Dad out of his, whatever mode he was in, because he was in a heck of a mode. And, and I'm going to tell you, every walk onto just about every green and tee on the back nine, the applause was deafening. And I knew it was more than just for what he was doing that day. But I remember Dad would make a good shot, would make a good birdie, and I would just say, as calm as I possibly could, inside exploding with emotions, and just said, "Nice shot, Dad. Now let's make this putt. Nice birdie, Dad. Now let's get back to work. Let's do it again." And very difficult to do, but I tried to stay as stone-faced as I could. Well, guys, you know what happened on that afternoon Sunday.
Added up to one of the greatest days in the history of our game. There's so much written and said and seen about your dad, including tonight in the three-part series, Jack. When you watch films like that, what have you learned maybe about your dad, that things you didn't even know or remember when you were young?
You know what? I've watched so many films, particularly this Masters week. Easter Sunday was fantastic. Our family sat around and watched a lot of old films of Dad competing. One of them was a walk through the majors. Excuse me. And I forgot how good he was. He never made it a big deal with our family. It was always Dad would go out and play golf, and we would hug Dad, and we'd go throw the football or the baseball when he got home. When I was a little kid, I don't remember saying this, but my mom reminds me, I was asked when I was 5 or 6 years old, "What does your dad do for a living?" And my response was, sorry, "What does he do for work?" And my response was, "He doesn't work, he just plays golf," which was what Dad wanted us. I guess my mom and Dad wanted us to keep us out of the spotlight. But to more direct answering your question, he was so good. And it's a reminder watching him over this last week or so on these reruns, and also how he did it. He did it in such a graceful manner and way. He was such a gentleman. Always competed, always was ethical and fair, and was the first one to congratulate anybody that beat him. And the way he did it is probably what I'm most proud of.
How about the numbers and the stats? You know what it's like to chase a professional career. When you look at just the accomplishment and achievement, I guess what stands out to you most?
Oh, well, I remember playing as an amateur, and these are tournaments that most of the golfing public is not aware of. This, some of the big and smaller amateur tournaments, his name was on every trophy, and I learned that trying to play myself. But I tried to play professional for a little bit, but it's amazing how many things he's accomplished in the game of golf. You look at the 18 major wins, but he finished second 19 times. It's incredible. But again, I'm going to go back to the way he did it. Dad, a gentleman. I think he always kept things in perspective. A perfect example of that is the concession during the Ryder Cup when he and Tony Jacklin were playing. Dad knew that after making his short putt, his 5 or 6 footer, that the U.S. would retain the cup, and Tony had a 2-foot putt or so, and there's probably no way that Tony was going to miss that putt, but somehow my dad took the bigger picture in, and he was not going to allow Tony a chance to miss that putt. And how he always kept, the bigger picture in mind, right in the heat of battle, it always amazes me, and he's done that throughout his career.
A lesson for all of us who love and play this game. So you became really prolific, Jack, of course, in the architect world. I'm curious, what are the challenges right now during this pandemic? You're such a big voice and part of the Nicklaus Design team.
Well, excuse me. Dad built a great company. Our design group, I followed Dad around, since I was a little kid in the dirt and watched him design. I was always amazed his imagination, creativity to do golf courses, and adding golf strategy on every step. I've tried to pay attention as best I could, and we've got a great group of folks at Nicklaus Design. We're going to continue to do well. Dad is still very active in helping us out. The design world right now, we can't service our builds as well as we could, prior to this pandemic. But we're going to be back. Golf, I think, is very healthy worldwide, and golf is, I think, a sport where we can do a little bit more social distancing and still enjoy the game. So I think golf's going to be fine. As far as design, we've got a lot on the books, and we're still very active with a lot of golf courses right now. But as I said, we can't be on site. I work mostly in Asia right now, and obviously I'm not traveling to Asia right now.
Well, some would say one of your dad's best designs, without question, is Muirfield Village, the home of the Memorial Tournament, such an important part of your family's legacy and very important to the PGA Tour as well. Your dad has said the tournament may move to July. What are the challenges trying to put together a tournament during this COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, everything's so much up in the air. We're not, there's a lot of uncertainty. We were one of the first to put up our hands and say, look, we'll delay our tournament if the PGA Tour can possibly give us a spot later, maybe in the fall. Could you imagine all the events wanting to stack up and get one of those spots? Well, the tour, Jay Monahan, is incredible, works with us fantastic, and we have delayed our start in May. When the Open Championship gave up their date in early July, I think we're going to grab that date. I believe we have grabbed that date, and we're already doing some scheduling to have the event then. It's going to be a little hotter in Columbus, Ohio, that's for sure. But we're excited about it. But again, it's all about promoting the event, getting everybody excited about the event. The tour, the players have always supported our event, so we're very thankful for that, and as has the greater Columbus area. So we're excited about it, but we're looking at the Open Championship date right now.
Well, Jack, you and your family, such a gift to our game. Thank you for your time, and please be safe. We'll talk to you soon.
David, thanks so much. Be safe yourself. Thanks so much.
Jack Nicklaus II. And folks, just a reminder, you at home can relive the career of the greatest major champion of all time, from Ohio prodigy to the pinnacle of the sports world. Catch the full 3-part series, Jack, tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, only on Golf.